All right, I'm going to try to teach you about some math boundaries and math dimensions and stuff, and I'm going to show you how to. I'm going to try to explain that to you in charting, and so that you guys can understand what the math boundaries are. So this top video here with the little Tesla, uh, 1 through 9 diagram, got a little picture up top by Math Logger here, and then the next one down, Engineering Made Easy. They have videos that they do a really good job explaining stuff like that and some math boundaries and stuff like that. And if you look at it, you can see that it has a pattern up there in that top one, and it's a harmonic style pattern. But if you see that they're two different colors, we're going to touch base on that right there. If you want to watch those videos, they can get in depth for you, but I'm gonna try to keep it short for you here and just get you to understand math boundaries and how we can associate that with movement in the chart. If we take this diagram and we kind of think about odds and evens and 2 bars back, and how in the charts I've shown how you can bounce between highs and lows of previous maths and stuff like that. If we look at the 8, we can see that it was pierced by a 9, and then the 1, which if counting from one, last week into this week, we could say that there's a 10 in there. And so 8 in this perspective would be hit by 10. If we took a line, drew it across from 8 over there to the 1, 8, 9, 10, right? Okay. But I'm gonna get a little farther into that in a minute, but I'm just gonna rotate this little diagram here and kind of talk my way through it just for you to understand a little bit of perspectives of how and why these things work like they do. So if we take that diagram, we spin it on its side, we see how 1 is a level and it's outside of the other math level, if you will. The blue one is kind of peeking outside. If we took that level, if that would say, we could call that Monday. If we took 1 Monday, first day of the week, and drew it across for 2 days, the third day pulls back below the 1 and goes across the diagram, and that could represent a short in the week. And if we see how it's got, the 2 appear as well, and you drew a line over to the 4, you could see how 2 and 4 are odd numbers, and the 3, being a different math dimension, peaked outside of that. And we could say that 2 could have put in a higher low, 3 broke that, and 4 reacted to 2 and then took off back across the chart, whether to the higher low of the week or to the higher low of that other even bar. And so if we take and we spin the diagram again, we can see how we could view this as Monday put in a level, Tuesday broke it, Wednesday put in the high, and then which would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 1, 2, 3. And now 4 and 5, Thursday and Friday had broke it. And now Monday of the new week, which could be seen as bar 1, right? Or bar 6, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or just recounting in ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so we can see how 3 can put in a level and 6 can react to that and pull back into the math dimensions of the chart. Okay. And having been, you'll see this whenever you see like a day and then 2 pierces through and then it pulls back in. 6 is divisible by 3. And so therefore it is in and of itself an odd number in maths. And so it can and will react to it as if it were an odd number itself. All right. If we take this and we view it from the 5 towards the 7 with that line right there, that could be like Friday put in a high, Monday bar 1 or bar 6 broke that high, and Tuesday bar 2 or bar 7, last week to this week's Tuesday would be bar 7. You can see how 7 can react to the levels of 5s, and in the reactionary different math system, the even bar in between, it gives a reaction and pulls back in and crosses over math zones and stuff. Let's see if we have, let's see. This would be a diagram of if it were going long, and say the other diagrams were flipped. This was more vertical. So let's focus on this going for a perspective of a long period. Okay. So 1 put in a low, 2 broke it down here at the bottom, 3 came back inside of it, being a different math type, and blasted back across the math diagram, right? The numbers diagram here. Okay, so there's a long version of it. And this could be like 6, 7, and 8. That would be if from last week to this week, but 6 is 1 or 6, right? So this would be equivalent to the last week. We're coming into the new, and we come into the new week. Last week closed. We're in the new week. Bar 1, Monday. Tuesday is 7. Wednesday is 8. So it's 1, 2, 3, or 6, 7, 8. All right. And so you can see how 8 could be back inside of 6 and go back across the math ranges or the number diagram here. And so this will be the same thing as where if we drop down and 3 put in a low Wednesday of last week, and then Thursday, Friday pierces it, the same as it's just the opposite of what the other example was for short. This is just flipping it to give that perspective. And then 6, which is divisible by 3, then reacts to 3 and crosses the range. So it's like kind numbers in that perspective. And then here, it's again, it's the same perspective. It's just flipping them around. I'm not sure. It's just giving you perspective, just showing you this stuff right here. So you can see how it could be that 6 put in a low, which will be Monday, and then you got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday can react to Monday and have 2 oddball things peeking out below, and then we'll cross the math range. And so that's just that's what this is, just giving you examples of understanding that stuff right there. Now let's go explain that to you in some numbers on the chart real quick. In terms of counting, if we focus up here real quick, we have 1 through 9 for the diagram that I was just showing you in the previous little slides there. So we have 1 through 9, and then so let's get a solid understanding of the numerical system real quick so that you can get your head wrapped around this. And this right here, 0 to 0 in this sequence, this 0 can be fragmented towards true 0, and you'd actually never get to it. And then so this 0 will run to infinity. And then this 9 right here, this sequence will repeat over and over and over and over and over to infinity. And so therefore this sequence right here in and of itself is an infinity symbol. Everything crunched between 0 and 0, or if you 8 on this, it's an infinity symbol, or it's an 8 symbol on the side, whatever you want to, however you want to look at it there. I'm just trying to, give you a perspective to look at it. So it will repeat itself. So essentially 0, if we keep counting, this will be 0, call it nothing, and then we're adding something to it. Instead of deducing, we are multiplying up, or we are adding up, or whatever you want to look at it like. So we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this would be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and this would be 20, 21. And down here, you can see that I've mapped this out to where this just showed you 0, and the zeros in the tens place are the exact same. Okay, so this is just a placeholder so that it tells us which set of tens places we are in. We are in the first, or the second, or the third, which would tell us 1, 2, and 3 of these. You understand? But really, what we're doing, it's just giving us a placeholder, which is just 0. And so, in that perspective, we can look at it and view it and just understand that the math boundaries have to function in every form that you want to go through and view it. If it goes up to hundreds, now 100 is the same thing as 0 and 10. It's the same placeholder. 99, 100, 100, and you got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 91, and 100. 110. Now you got 111, right? So anyway, you get the point there. 0 and 10, 0 and the 20, 0 and the 30. It's all the same. So if we stack them like this, just to give you a visual perspective, this right here is the same thing. And then we are then repeating this sequence up here. So if we know in that perspective that that is the numerical system and its basis, we can simplify our thought process to understand no matter what we are doing, to get fractal, we need 3 parts. So, in that perspective, we will always be able to look back and find a move in math boundaries in 3 bars. So, if we were 3, we could look back at this. If we were 5, we could look at 3. You know what I mean? So 1, 2, 3, and then it starts. Boom. 4 can be off 2, 5 can be off 3, 6 off 4, 7 off 5, 8 off 6, 9 off 7, 10 or 0 off 8. Right? And so that right there is just the general deal. So if we're counting and we have one of something, whether it be weeks, days, months, we can wait till a few of them pass and we can look for a math level to expose itself in this perspective. Now, if we're if I get into the other perspectives of where these are just counting in ones, that this is when it becomes fractal. Counting in twos, it becomes fractal at 6, 2, 4, 6. That's 3 parts. So 3 and 6 are, and then it will be 9. So 3, 6, 9, and we have 3 parts. So we are always in a 3 bar function, whether it is bar 1, bar 2, or bar 3 of that function, and whether we are reacting to bar 1 in our current function, or if we're in another bar and we are reacting to the first or the third in our second bar, right? So second bar, it can be odds and evens on the inside, can react to that. So we'll know that in this perspective of counting, that we will always be in an infinite loop of all of this stuff happening. So I wanted to make that clear about that. And then, that way you guys can just kind of pay attention and understand um, about math boundaries. Somebody was asking me about math boundaries and stuff, and so I'm going to explain this to you, something that's very, very important to understand. If we look at math boundaries, that is the whole amount of whatever we're talking about. If it's a daily candle, right? If we're talking about a whole daily candle, and we are referring to, let's see, how can I mean, I'm trying to not lose you guys here to where, well, okay, maybe I can explain this to you. So when if you think about the Big Bang Theory, right? When everything in the universe blew up, pow, whatever you want to call it, everything kind of. If you think about Paul Diroc's his understanding of the temporary space and time, in which math is splitting, right? And then you have a big explosion, and then everything comes back together. And so uh, I'm not going to talk too much about it. There's a video that was done on it, and you can go watch it. Look up Paul Diroc's video, and Veritasium did a video on that. Let's see. So it helps you understand a pretty good math perspective, and then it will teach you how when things separate and when they come back together, they actually they actually collide and cancel each other out. And so the chance of something escaping that are about 1 part in 1 billion escape that. And so what I'm trying to get you to understand is that for when this bar and this bar, this say whether this, it doesn't matter if this is a 1 or it's an odd or even. When we go 2 bars forward and we get a move or something like this, it doesn't matter if they're odd or even. This is the math is running, and this is an instant separation. We can look at this like an explosion. Bang, and this came to an end, and boom, it blew up, and it separated, and boom, it then like it implodes and comes back together. And so if you go watch videos about that, like when they separate, I guess the atoms and stuff, and they're trying to make antimatter and all kinds of crap. But you guys are going to get lost if I get too far into that. But when you have this separation and then it comes back together, the 2 parts of the same thing collide back together. And so in math boundaries, we can understand when something has separated off and has now come back into this is a boundary of it. It's a whole unit of this. It's an odd or an even. It can be a 1 or a 2. And then this could be 3 or 4 hitting it. So what happens is this dies off, leaves a parameter, has matter in it. You could say an open, a high, low, close could be that matter, the levels of matter, the impact points of matter. And so math boundaries will be tested just the same way. And you can guarantee that this will happen forever, the same way that you can, and be very certain on it that there's 1 in 1 billion that actually, whenever the things separate and come back together, they say there's, for the things to escape, which is kind of like what's our the entire possibility of our universe existing, is that the Big Bang Theory. You can go look into that if you want, and then we escaped it, and that's the only reason that the Earth is actually possible right now. So we are 1 in 1 billionth chance of not colliding back to and destroying ourselves. So it's like it's hard for me to explain this to somebody who doesn't really understand that, and try to keep it simple. But what I'm trying to do is solidify for you the understanding that this repeating type of patterns are going to be consistent in impact points. So it's a math range, a zone, boom, it's going off into nowhere, right? Or price. It's at an impact point. It's here and at price, right? So it's an entire set of math zones. And then this right here is reacting to it exists, it blew up, it come back to itself, it annihilated itself, and then it just undone everything that it had went, it exploded, changed into something else. This could be the separation, the temporary separation in time, and now it has come back to itself and boom, and imploded, and now every bit of what it had done has been erased. Okay, so now it doesn't exist. That profit doesn't exist. It's been erased, and so this profit to this point has been erased. It's impact points in math. Okay, so that's the perspective I'm trying to get you to understand, and why you can look 2 bars back and all kinds of perspectives and all these different math ranges and stuff that I do and show, and you can use this same sequence of understanding for each type and part of the system. And there's no way that that it can't operate on this function. It's just impossible for mathematics to not function this way. You have to try to understand the flow of it and the shape of your structures within it, and understand what a boundary is and what going across that boundary to and from can be. And so that's the perspective. So you can trust that you will always be able to simplify your trading back to this type of strategy right here to get moves, and know that the chances of this in an aspect are of it hitting, and whether you're at a math level, the chances of this going in your favor are high in that perspective when you understand how to trap time, price, and what an actual mathematical boundary movement is, and then you can bet on it and try to run it across ranges. So that's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. So just think of this as like, uh, you know, for these levels, right? A high low box of a day, like Monday's high low box, it stands 1 in 1 billionth of a chance of not ever getting hit again by an otter, even bar at all, right? And so what you can understand is that what that tells you is it's going to certainly hit it and annihilate. It went up, it went down, and this went down, and so now we're going up. We're canceling out. It has a movement. It has a movement. It is canceling out and imploding and exploding in perspectives of math, right? It hit, boom, this bar is dead. This bar is alive. This bar is now dead, and this bar is now alive, and it will react to what caused it to even come about, because that's just mathematical boundaries and mathematical functions. You can't get away from it. So we can simplify our thought process to understanding mathematical levels in which we can function, and say that we want to look for trades. This has a value, it can cross a whole valued range that we can understand, we need to know what is a math boundary and what is a signal. This, you really don't have to do anything else with the entire system other than master the fact of 2 bars back and you can make money. That's it. 2 bars back, boom. 2 bars back, 2 bars back down, 2 bars back up. 2 bars over, boom, goes 2 bars back, boom, off 2 bars back, boom, 2 bars back. So to show you how this is just a proof to show you how we have crossed a zone and we are now going through these levels, 2 bars back at this, 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 right? So it's doing it. It's doing it. It goes up 2 bars, finds support, blasts off. You know what I mean? And so if you can understand the perspective of that and understand how and why, you don't need to really do anything with these numbers. Just understand that this is the function and this is the thought process. All right. This is what you're going to be looking for, looking through, trying to figure it out. All right. 2 bars back, odds and evens, 1 day bar, 2 day bar, 3 day bar. We are always in a 3 day bar function. We are either closing one, opening one, or we're reacting to the current one we're in. That's it. Trap it. Pay attention. Don't let it get you stuff, Don't just hand it your money. Pay attention. 2 bars back. This could still dump off of this, come down and bounce and go along. It doesn't have to. It could stay up here. It could put in this day and then another day come in and do it. And then the third day over here, come back from this one. This would be 1 day, 2 day, 3 days, right? Boom. And still fulfill this right here. And this could be just something that you could have, you maybe traded to it, thought that it was going to hit, but it didn't. Maybe we don't know if it's going to or not in this perspective. We just look for functions, and when we see one actually happening, we react. So 2 bars back, odds and evens. I showed you little diagram functions. I've shown you price. I've shown you time. I'm telling you the mathematical functions, which means it is like 1 in 1,000 thousands that this is not going to hit. Okay, so we can count on that and know that. In that perspective, we can build huge confidence. Go look it up. They'll tell you the odds of something escaping the whole mathematical matrix. When something ends, it kind of blows up in a perspective, creates something else in between. In between these bars, 2 days back function tells you to ignore the in between. The implosion back to itself will destroy itself in that perspective, hit itself, and then annihilate whatever it has done, undo it, add to it, and keep. Then in different perspectives, it's going to adjust through higher time frame prices these same ways in higher time frame perspectives. So this is how you do it. Just look for little signals like this. No need to go crazy paying everybody out the wahoo for money every month. It's this is it. This is it. Pay attention. Understand this perspective. And so in that perspective, we can know what number this is, but it does not matter if it's an odd or an even once we understand that this is the entire function in and of itself of the math. All right. Go study, pay attention. And yeah, that's all I got for you for now.